Hi.
Hi,
Would you like to introduce yourself?
I'm Katie. I wrote and recorded the poems on Madhura's video.
Okay.
Amazing performance, yeah.
That would happen eventually. Let's see.
Yeah.
But do you remember when you wrote those two poems?
I do, yeah. Yeah, I do. I do remember.
And do you think when you recorded them in your own voice, was it easier to go back into the position or the state where you were when you wrote those poems?
It was actually quite difficult,
Hmm.
I would say. Eventually, after sort of the time went on and on, I could slowly sort of dip into it. But I think the pressure of like having two people, like one being a stranger, was sort of almost strangely like disconnecting from the actual reading of it, because it was the first time I ever read and recorded my poems. But I almost was like sort of not forced, but I was like certainly encouraged to like really drop into the emotion of the poem. And so after, I don't know, like however many recordings, I think eventually I was able to feel the emotion of the poem towards the end.
And how would you say, maybe describe an overall experience of recording it?
Yeah, it was really interesting. A new experience. I really enjoyed, well, being in the studio with all of this like amazing equipment that's around. So I liked that element of it, and but in a strange sort of way, it was like because obviously I never wrote those poems expecting them to be recorded, and so it's like almost like, you know, tapping into sort of very personal space in a quite formal setting. So
So you said it's your first experience, recording your poems.
yeah.
Would you maybe like to do more such recordings, or look at your poems in different ways, more than just them being a poem but collaborating with other artists?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's amazing how obviously when you we first had a conversation just like randomly when we were walking, and I said, oh, it'd be really nice to like, you know, do a video recording of like a dance or something with the poem. And then all of a sudden, like a month later, you're like, hey, I really want to do this project, let's do it. And it was like, oh, okay, sure, let's. So that was really exciting. And I think it's just really cool how you like were touched by the poem in your own way, and then because of that you were able to like relate to it and then use it in your own way creatively. So I think it would be really cool, and also just practicing speaking it and communicating it in a way that people can understand like what the emotion actually is about in the poem. Yeah.
And how was it collaborating with me?
Oh, it was fun.
Was I
Yeah.
easygoing?
Yeah. No, it was. Yeah.
You can say the truth, it's fine.
No, it was. No, it was. It was. It just sort of happened very, very quickly, I think, and there was because it just all happened very quickly. I think it was sort of, I was thrown into it just to like do the recording, and obviously for you, sort of in the whole concept of your performance, the creation that you've sort of dreamt about, well, literally dreamt about, but it's, yeah, it's sort of, was really interesting to hear that and to feel how that I can sort of have my little piece in helping you reflect that. And so it was really cool to hear how sort of meaningful of this piece is. Yeah, and so it's nice because it actually feels like it's worth, it's worth it. You appreciate it, so that's good. Yeah.
And one last question. Anything if you would like to change, or during this process, if you again had to go through this process, something that you would like to amend or change?
I would really love to sort of write a poem specifically for your like vision or your idea. I still really enjoyed it. I still really enjoyed sort of like almost like a jigsaw, trying to fit in my poem with your interpretation of it. But I would be interested in writing a poem for you, specifically in your experience of something, and just to almost get the roles reversed in that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I look forward to that, and hopefully we get to make another video of that soon. Okay, until then, thank you. Bye-bye.